Hello, all you wonderful people. How are you? I'm so glad to be back. I'm back here in Spain, coming from the UK. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the journey and then just about what I'm seeing happening at the moment. I'll fill you in on the other side. So we went to the UK, and what's interesting is that we went on Iberia Airlines. Now, Iberia Airlines is the Spanish airlines, and they've actually started to do really good offers, very comparable to Ryanair. So normally they used to be expensive. Before they used to be expensive. So we went on Iberia. The problem was that for whatever reason, Iberia is the only airline that still demands masks. And the reason that it still demands masks is because the Spanish government still wants people to wear masks on public transport. So we knew that this was going to be an issue, but however, we'd seen other people recording their issues on Iberia. And basically, there's a form here that you can fill out that is legal that says, I'm not wearing a mask, okay? However, not all of the flight attendants know this. It can be problematic. We've also got doctors' medical exemptions. A beautiful doctor, hello Angela, if you watch this, she did them for us. So we've got exemptions for the whole family. So we went, and of course, as usual, we were in the airport, very few masks. We were standing in the queue, nobody with a mask on except a few, eager beavers. Walked down the corridor, all the way, the tunnel down to the airplane, nobody with masks on. Got to the door, and the man said, your masks. And we said, oh, we've got a medical exemption. He said, well, can I have a look at it? Now, they're not allowed to look at it. They're not supposed to look at it. But he looked at it. And he said, this is no good. This has to be signed by the group of doctors in Iberia, and you've got to have a PCR test. He said, but let's not go crazy. Yeah, let's not go crazy. Going in. Right, so we went in without a mask on. I mean, we had masks in our pocket because we weren't going to miss the flight, but we wanted to make sure we didn't have to wear them. So that was super. During the flight, the captain came on and had a chat with us. And he said, at the end of his chat, please help us to get these masks taken off. I'm sorry that you're having to wear masks, but you've got the power of social media. Please start mentioning on social media that it's ridiculous that we're still wearing these masks because of the supposed experts that say we have to. Now, this was the captain. And we thought, whoa, obviously conspiracy theorist. The supposed... It's a fixed expression here that all conspiracy theorists have, which is supuestos expertos. Well, so he was one. So we were quite cheered by that. So we got to UK and we did our bit. It was beautiful being with my family, and some of my family I haven't seen for 4 years because we had a bit of a gap that we hadn't seen one another. Then the stupidity started, and so 4 years. It was beautiful. So on the way back, which was yesterday, we got to the door, exactly the same thing, no masks. Got to the door, somebody behind us was going, I've just heard that I've got to wear a mask. I'm not wearing a mask, blah, blah, blah. So we got to the door and the air hostess said, flight attendant, let's be politically correct now. She said, you've got to come in with masks. And we said, we've got a medical exemption. And she said, we had the papers in our hand. No, that's no good. You've got to have a signed agreement from the doctors of Iberia. You've got to have a PCR test. And we said, no, you don't. And she stood there and said, I'm going to go and talk to the captain. I mean, she was really snotty as well. This wasn't a nice exchange. This was a snotty exchange. My wife was getting quite het up, I was aware of. So she went. We had to stand to one side while everybody else was getting on. And then she came back and said, really sorry, everything's all right, you can come on in. It's not my business to look at your medical exemption. Just come on in. And she told the rest of the flight attendants, these have a medical exemption. Yeah. And so we got on without masks again. And it was very beautiful. And on the way back, I mean, there was a guy standing talking to the flight attendant going, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It makes no sense. We're standing in the queue beforehand, shoulder to shoulder. You can go into a disco in Spain, shoulder to shoulder, but you can't get on a flight. But the bizarre thing was, he had his mask on, and it was just, you could barely see his eyes. And I thought, if just say no. Just say no. As it happened, lots of people were dropping the mask on the flight. But still, a lot of people were wearing it as well, which was extremely disappointing for me. However, we weren't. And this is, as they say, from small acorns, great oaks grow. That's what they just need to see other people saying, no. And my wife was saying to people, you just need this, and then you don't have to wear a mask. So let's see. Anyway, that was quite nice, but it was nice to hear the pilot giving a few words of encouragement for the conspiracy people amongst us, which are us. Other things I've noticed, when I was in the UK, there were no trails in the sky at all. None. And here in Spain, none either. Ever since the eclipse. Right? What has that got anything? Is there any relation? I have no idea. Just since the eclipse, no trails in the sky in both countries. Interesting. So other news. I have just seen a clip of a guy, a politician, a member of the European Union, a member of Parliament, giving a 2-minute speech that he warned it was going to be painful, and he absolutely dragged the European Union through the gutter with what he said about corruption, not representing the people, following a political line that without willingness to listen to anything else. It was incredible. And now I've seen lots of European Union members of Parliament who were speaking out, but this guy gave them hell. But that wasn't the thing, because look, words aren't cheap, but there are lots of words being spoken now. It wasn't that. It was everything he said got a round of applause from loads, like the majority. It sounded like the majority. Everything he said was being applauded. Now that stood out to me. Now that was interesting, because it wasn't just him. Okay, so there's a shift that I see. Now I'm aware that basically the videos that I watch are showing me that there's this tremendous shift happening in terms of if we want to talk about it, look, if we look 5D here, 5D, yeah, all beautiful, everything. And then we've got the 3D down here. Now the 3D is kind of the nuts and bolts, isn't it? It's where stuff happens. Up in the 5D, it's all relaxed and groovy. But here, shit happens. What I'm saying is, in the nuts and bolts area, there is a lot happening. There are tremendous movements happening. People are being taken to court. Judges are giving rulings that they've never given before. There just seems to be a shift, an energetic shift toward bringing out what happened and starting to kind of name names a little bit. So it's really, really interesting. I like it a lot. I like, we live in the 3D. The 3D is where we reside. And so when good stuff happens in the 3D, I'm over the moon. I really, really am. But what I'm aware of is that I don't want it to, it's good when it happens. Yeah, it's nice. It makes you feel good. But that means if you get attached to the good news, then when the bad news comes, you're attached to that as well, because that's the opposite, isn't it? So what I'm aiming to do with myself is to enjoy the victories. Absolutely. Look, we've had a shit time. They treat us like shit. Okay? They've attacked us. They have given us a hard time. So when we see these victories, enjoy them. However, just remember that it's all part of the game. And remember, as the emissary said to me, they are doing bad stuff. Why? Because they're baddies, and the baddies do bad stuff, and they're going to continue to do bad stuff. They're going to continue to try and keep us frightened. But I tell you something, my guess is that they are frightened. they are very frightened with what's happening. They're aware of what's happening. It's like the pressure cooker. You know when you've got a pressure cooker and you've got that little heavy weight that goes on the top and goes, tss, 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 it spins, yeah? That's just about to be taken off. That's scary. It's scary just with the pressure cooker. Take that off, you've got the whole meal all over the kitchen, starting with the roof. So, I'll tell you something else that came to mind as well, which I think is hilarious. So, Macron, well, he keeps getting slapped. Right? He keeps getting slapped. I've seen 2 videos of him going up there. Bonjour, ça va, a woman, bonjour, slapped him. And then, of course, everybody dives on top of him, you know. But that's happened to him twice. I mean, Macron is a very hated man. He is a hated man. And, I mean, the whole thing looked staged where he was. It was this little group. He went running up to them. I don't know what that's about. Running up to them. Everybody in the group had masks on. Everybody. The woman obviously infiltrated and give him a, as they say here in Spain, una hostia bien dada. Yeah, a hit well given. But I mean, all that Macron is missing is a pie in the face. That's got to happen. I mean, Prince Charles, look at him. Everywhere he goes, people are throwing eggs at him. People are shouting stuff. So, you know, there was that letter of the alphabet. They said they won't be able to walk down the street. Really, that's where we are now. Imagine Bill Gates walking down, I don't know, Gateshead High Street. He would be attacked. And he knows it. These people know it. I mean, they can never enter society again. They never can. Because they're going to be attacked by us. I mean, I'd love to bitch slap Bill Gates. I would love to get him by the scruff of his man boobs and give him a good bitch slapping. Obviously, I don't think that would do my karma any good, but I don't care. That's why they can't walk down the street. And Macron is definitely, I've got a feeling there's a custard pie coming up. I don't know why. Like the Bill Gates one, that was hilarious. I just feel that, he's going to get something. So, this is where I see the 3D very much in the revelation, very much in the stuff's coming out. Life's becoming very difficult for them, and not only that, I saw something with the WEF and that German, what's he called, Klaus, yeah, Santa Claus, and he's standing there. He's got a reversed swastika. Now, let me tell you that the reversed swastika is actually a Hindu sign, which means bringing peace to your household. You see them on the doorsteps. All right, it's not the way the Nazis inverted it, but it doesn't help. It's not helping his cause. Choose something else. Choose a smiley face or something. If you want people to think, oh, that's nice. Don't choose an inverted or what appears to be an inverted swastika. And he's just doing this speech about the reset, the new revolution, the fourth revolution. And it's interesting because as he was speaking, there was an auto subtitler, and every time that he said, "The force, we are getting closer to the force," whatever it is, the force revolution or whatever he calls it, the fourth, because you can't say fourth properly, yeah, it was being changed to false, yeah, false. I thought that was a bit of divine comedy there. But he's chatting in German. I mean, look, I love Germans. I've got loads of German friends. But when somebody is dressed weirdly, they're banging the finger like this, and they're speaking in German about, changing the world, it brings back a lot of archetypical memories. It brings back a lot of memories, especially anyone who's watched the History Channel. You get a lot of memories, okay? So he's got a swastika. He's chatting about changing the world, and he's saying those at the front, those who actually do this, they're going to be the winners. They're going to win everything. Yeah, it was like really bizarre, But then what's happening is that all of that's been videoed, all of that's been passed around, and so all of the strength because he's only talking to the world, the world leaders. He's not talking to the plebs. We're the plebs. We shouldn't know all of that. We just get it filtered down through there. We've passed a new law or whatever. It's all of their agenda's just been laid out all of the time. And that really isn't helping them at all. Not only that, but it's all done often with humour. And that doesn't help either, because people are laughing at them. I'll tell you something else. So I was talking to my daughter who lives in the UK. She's 22. Now we know that the youth are not as proactive in all of this as we are. The people who watch these videos are from 50 upwards. Typically, there are some younger ones, but she was saying, she said there are tons and tons of awake young people I talk to now. She said, but what we do is we just laugh at it. We know it's true, and we laugh at it. So we don't take it seriously, all right? But I was thinking, well, it really doesn't matter how it happens. The awakening happens in many different ways. When you are laughing, as you say, they laugh at the politicians and know that they're all liars and everything. Once you know that, then the power's gone from them. It's only when you're frightened of them, you respect them. Oh yes, politicians working for us. That's the only time that politicians actually work, if you know what I mean, in terms of a function. But when people are laughing at them, not working. It's not working for them. The only power that a politician has is speaking. Have you noticed that? Not doing, just speaking. And they've always been, the spin doctors of the world, speaking. But they have no power when everybody's listening and they're going, well, that's just lies, that's bullshit. All the power's gone because a politician doesn't have any other skills. I think I've mentioned this before. Has no skills whatsoever except speaking bullshit. So when the bullshit detector's going off in lots and lots of people, no power, nothing. They've got nothing to offer whatsoever. So that's good, isn't it? So what am I saying? I think I've never seen us in a better place than what we are now. And I'm talking about 3D, okay? In the 5D, every day it's better, every day. But in the 3D, it's almost like, do you know when you're boiling a pot, you're boiling a pan of stew, right? And you're looking at it and you think, it's never going to boil. And then something happens, the bubbles start picking up, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it goes, blub, 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 blub. That's where we are, just before that bit. The bubbles are, it's warming up, it's heating up. That's where we are. That's how I see it anyway. So, excellent times, excellent moment. But let's not forget, now's not the time just to be watching 3D and rubbing your hands and going, way. Yes, do a bit of that. Enjoy yourself. But also keep working on yourself. Keep helping yourself to move to that next step. Remember, we're at the forefront of this for a very, very, very big reason. This is not by mistake that you woke up when you woke up. It wasn't by mistake. That was by program, that was by contract, that was by divinity. And so you woke up for a very, very jolly good reason before the vast majority. And so your job is to find out what your job is. Your job is to find out why it was that you were chosen, or you agreed to wake up then. Let's say that. That's even more spot on. Why? What have you got to do right now that's going to aid this? That's going to soothe the masses, the furious boiling pot of masses. What have you got to do? That's our job, right? And enjoy the show as well as we watch it. Like, way, but hey, and then a bit of Zen Buddhism. What am I? Who am I? Why am I? Where am I? And how am I? All the questions. Do the whole lot. Yeah. All right. I love you all. I'll see you again next week, and have a wonderful weekend. I love you all.